Hi, I am Stephania. When I was born, I had a congenital heart defect, which means there was a hole between the two chambers of my heart. This condition allowed venous and arterial blood to mix. I never experienced any symptoms due to this condition, nor was my life ever endangered by it. What was unusual in my case was that the exact diagnosis wasn't made until just a month before my 16th birthday. Prior to that, all cardiac specialists had misdiagnosed me and attempted other forms of treatment. My heart condition had been diagnosed in the early years of my life. The only cardiac specialist who accurately diagnosed my heart condition was surprised that I was able to live almost to 16 in such good health. I had abundant energy, my body was full of vitality, and I never realized I was sick. My heart never showed signs of overworking or even imbalance. The doctor immediately and decisively discussed with my parents the issue of operating on me immediately. He said that if I didn't undergo surgery, irreversible heart problems would arise. I agreed to the surgery, despite having no symptoms, purely as a preventive measure. This would ensure that I could lead a healthy life without the need for treatment or medication. In fact, in the office of that cardiac specialist, my clinical records read surgery cured. Facing the cardiac specialist who decided when and where I should have surgery, I inwardly resisted the idea of having heart surgery. In the 2 months leading up to the surgery, I felt extreme anxiety and firmly believed I would die. I was a 16-year-old girl, and to me, the heart was associated with romantic notions of love. I believed that one couldn't just carry on living as if nothing happened, opening up the heart and letting it continue working. Furthermore, I didn't accept the idea that I needed this surgery because I felt fine, with no health issues, despite the urging of the cardiac specialists. At 16, the concept of undergoing surgery for preventive purposes and any future heart damage didn't align with my way of thinking, reasoning, or viewing life. I researched the current surgical techniques they were going to use and the fact that the surgeon would take all the time he needed to operate on me, which made me even more afraid. The image of lying on the operating table, my heart temporarily stopped, no blood in my chest, confirmed my belief that I would definitely die there. Now, I will describe the experience I went through. The heart surgery had ended hours ago. It was a routine procedure, and afterward, I was transferred to the intensive care unit. I lay on a different type of bed, connected to various monitors, continuously recording the different physiological activities of each organ. But I was no longer in my body. I floated, without weight or sense of solidity. I was above my body, directly below the ceiling of the intensive care unit. I observed what was happening below me. When I say below me, I mean to convey not just a physical or logistical position. I, no longer belonging to my body, instantly found myself in a higher place, a place unrelated to any earthly or material experience. I was an expression of pure existence and existed on a level and dimension different from this one. I observed everything happening and all subsequent events without getting involved. As I floated freely, without the limitations of thought or body, I experienced a sense of boundless bliss or happiness, independent of any external factors. I felt myself floating in this place of blessing, being the space of that blessing. I floated freely, without purpose or direction. I existed, and that was it. At the same time, I experienced extremely alive and vigilant state of mind. I deeply understood what was happening on that other level of existence, where the body had once been mine and was now lying intubated in the intensive care unit bed. This thought was crystal clear and conveyed through immediate cognition. It was a different way of thinking from what I had experienced on Earth. I saw the body as mine but was no longer interested in it. I wasn't that body. I felt very good in my current place, very surprised at the wonders happening around my former body. I observed everything, but what I saw wasn't what the physical eyes of the doctor saw. I observed with my entire mind. I experienced everything from a state of consciousness that permeated my entire being, perceiving everything from that perspective. I knew the doctors were doing their utmost to bring me back from where I was. I knew other surgeons from other wards rushed to help, but I didn't want to return to where I was. I floated in a dimension bathed in soft heavenly light, very pure. It was a light filled with peace and tranquility. It expressed unconditional happiness, endless. I was released from existence. Here, everything was heavenly. I was surrounded by heaven. In this dimension, I just existed. I was experiencing the fact of existence, and this experience occurred on another level of existence. I knew with all my being that I was in a dimension beyond time and space, and I didn't want to go back into my body. I didn't understand all the excitement and agitation around my former body that the doctors were experiencing. I remember thinking, why are they so insistent? What's wrong with them? I'm fine here. I knew I didn't want to return to my body because I didn't want to face everything waiting for me on Earth. Even though I didn't know what was waiting for me, I was absolutely sure it wouldn't be the peace I was experiencing. Nothing could be as perfect and soft as the absolute and distant happiness I was experiencing. Yet they brought me back into my body, back to Earth. When I opened my eyes again in my earthly body in the intensive care unit, I didn't remember my experience. I didn't remember anything. However, I did know that I had come back from a journey, and I knew it had lasted a long time, but only a moment. All the hustle and bustle of the surgeons were confirmed. Typically, after waking up from surgery like mine, I wouldn't be able to speak. Generally, that ability would return in about 24 hours. But I started talking then. As I spoke and joked with all the doctors around me, I suddenly felt an uncontrollable urge to help the lady in the bed next to mine. She had surgery after me. I will always remember the communication between her and me. It was a kind of communication that didn't require many words, conducted through our eyes and thoughts. She asked me for help. She was very cold, unable to speak because, as I explained earlier, she couldn't ask the doctors for a blanket. That's why she requested me, as I had been chatting enthusiastically with the doctors, to get her a blanket. Even though I didn't remember my near-death experience, I was joyfully talking. Clearly, that blissful energy was still vibrating within me. I was very glad to be able to help another life. I remember feeling very strongly that I had this desire to serve others, and this lady gave me that opportunity. To this day, I still remember the vivid gratitude in her eyes when she was covered with a blanket. I felt the power of love and a very strong sense of empathy. At the same time, I felt much older than my barely 16 years. I had always been very timid and insecure. A year ago, I had started my first relationship, or at least that's what I thought at the moment. But in the moment they woke me up after surgery, and in the moment I had that experience with the lady next to me, I felt like I had come back from a long journey, even though I had traveled far, but it felt so close. I also knew that I had grown in that moment and that the girl I used to be was no longer who I wanted to be. I wanted something else, but I didn't know what. During that time, the doctors told my parents that for 10 minutes they were very worried about me because my heart didn't respond to their stimuli. From that moment on, for the next 11 years, I didn't remember that experience, but every time heart surgery was mentioned, I always felt it was the most important experience of my life. But I didn't know why I felt that way. Every time it was brought up, I was filled with emotion, which made me cry. From then on, I was no longer afraid of death, although I didn't understand why. Instead, I rationalized it. I endured and survived the type of surgery initiated by the doctors, a clinical death, so why should I fear death now? After the hospital, I started my life, but I wasn't the same person anymore. Things, friends, and activities that used to satisfy me no longer did. I became restless, unsatisfied, and started searching for something. The only thing clear was, I wanted to serve others. I wanted to be like the lady in the intensive care unit. And more importantly, I thought I had fulfilled that desire by enrolling in medical school to become a cardiac surgeon, but my path wouldn't turn out that way. The memory of that state of consciousness during the heart surgery was truly a revival of my essence. From there, the guiding thread of events in my life began and became my guide. I tried to understand everything so that I could put that fascinating adventure into the right context, which was the mysterious and surprising thing about deciding to live on this earth in this body. Then, after 11 years following the heart surgery, experiencing a lightning-fast marriage and immediate separation, I embarked on a brave journey of self-discovery. This exploration would provide me with all the reasons and truths, explaining why and how I would meet someone completely opposite to me on the altar. I started therapy to manage stress, setbacks, anxiety, depression, and the loss of a marriage I had just begun and was about to end. After several sessions, I experienced the first of what I would define as conscious awakenings. I re-experienced what happened in the operating room 11 years ago. It was the same experience. Suddenly, I heard a muffled sound in my left ear. I was gently thrown out of my body. Then, every time it happened again, I could recognize the vibration created in that slight deafness, the existence. From this new perspective, from outside my body, I landed on the edge of another dimensional existence. It was a dimension beyond time and space, where everything existed in happiness, harmony, freedom, and perfection. Everything that happened was perfect because it perfectly matched the cosmic order in which we all participate. In an instant, I knew that the life we live is an illusion. It's not real because it's a creation of our minds. We constantly create thoughts and then project those thoughts outside our minds, just as the frames of a movie are projected onto a screen. In that moment, I knew real life was different from what we think. We are all expressions of the energy of love. We come from here and are destined to return here, to merge again with this original unity, while our minds make us believe we've lost that unity. This place is heaven. It's the unity with everything. In my first experience, and in all subsequent ones, I experienced a state of merging with everything, defined in Eastern tradition as samadhi or cosmic merger state. Thus, I experienced the merging with creation multiple times, the first time being at 16. Even though the veil of forgetfulness temporarily swallowed it, its traces always lived deep inside me, driving me again to reveal the truth of existence. I experienced the merging with every being and vibration in this universe. I felt myself merge with the mountains, lakes before me. I felt myself merge with the ocean and tides. I felt myself merge with the clouds with no separation. As I was in this experience, I communicated with humans and animals. I knew what others were thinking, what they were feeling. I knew who was behind closed doors. I maintained this state of merging for several days. In conclusion, I can say I received the gift of returning and merging with everything. With this understanding, I realized that everything is a unity of a unique energy, starting from a subtle level, passing through denser levels, depending on the mindset being experienced. Thanks to the gift of re-experiencing this event, I know that life is eternal and continuous, and death, the way we see it on Earth, does not exist. It's just a journey to another level of existence. From my first experience to today, I'm understanding that every day on this earth, in this body, I'm here to experience joy and happiness. The life we spend on this earth is not random. Our lives are a direct result of mind creation. I'm here on this earth to open my heart to unconditional love every day. I'm in this body to let go of every remaining fear and attachment. I'm here on this earth to express every day how happy I am. I'm here and now to discover more potential spaces of freedom. I'm here to learn freedom and extend it to the world around me. I'm here on this earth to live happily and lightly. I'm in this body and in the space-time dimension to learn that every moment is the only existing reality. Everything else is an illusion created by thought, created by the mind. I'm here to remember that every moment, I can rediscover the true self. I'm here to play and frolic because this world is a sacred joy creation. I'm here on this earth because I have the full and sacred right to do everything that makes me happy, and it's my responsibility to create more joy, to contribute to the expansion and happiness of all and everything. I came to this earth to be carefree and at ease in this moment.